Hi everyone, my name is Hsieh, and I was a Fulbright Scholar here in Taiwan this past year. Can't believe it's been a year already, but I'm really excited to share with you some of the work that I've done when I was in Taiwan. Now, as many of you know, Taiwan has excelled in semiconductors and electronics manufacturing over the past decades. However, while these industries still account for much of Taiwan's economy, much of these manufacturing jobs have moved across to China, and Taiwan has struggled to find new generations of innovative startups. This is why in recent years the government has been pushing for a focus on social innovations. The idea of social innovations is to develop innovative technological or business solutions to help address social issues. The hope is that this focus could spur new sets of technology advances to prosper the economy and also the society. Now, designing successful innovations is no easy task. For every successful company, there are many failed companies. Right? And this is where my expertise comes in. My expertise is in human-centered design. Our field believes that with a better understanding of people and stakeholders, we can develop better technologies and better innovations. And so much of our research really helps generate guidelines, tools, processes, and methods to help design practitioners develop more useful and more valuable technologies. And so that you no longer have to deal with interfaces like this. And our focus is beyond just simply how we can make better interfaces for a single user. Many of us are also working on problems beyond the individual, on problems related to social innovations, problems related to social systems. Specifically, I work in an area called social computing that studies how people use digital technology for social interactions. And again, it's our belief that through these studies, we can help design better social systems. One fundamental problem that I want to highlight in developing social innovations and social systems is this problem of participation. Now, as many of you have used sort of social technologies like Facebook or Wikimedia, or you sign online petitions, it's easy for you to understand that with social systems, the value of these systems really depend on having more contributions from a wide range of people. If no one else is signing petitions anymore, if no one else is contributing to Wikipedia, or if no one else visits Facebook anymore, you would find that these technologies, services are no longer valuable and useful. And so much of my prior work has focused on how do we encourage people to participate in these social innovative systems. For example, I've looked at ways to help encourage people to give help online, to help design better crowd working online, allowing better multiplayer games, encouraging more civic participation online learning, and even get people to live healthier through health behavior change technologies. Now, while this area of work has been really interesting, this isn't exactly what my focus in Taiwan is on. Over the past few years, while I've been doing this work, I've started noticing a problem. Is that despite sort of this value of research being generated by researchers, these valuable insights really aren't being applied in practice by designers. They're not utilized by companies when they're focusing on developing innovations. If you go to ask any designers whether they're reading our papers, most of them will say no. And so I wanted to sort of help address this problem of research practice gap in our field. Now, this isn't a problem that's unique to our field. It's been talked about to a great extent in other fields such as education, management science, nursing, or health. But I think this is also a critical problem that our field needs to face. Because as I mentioned, one of the fundamental ideas of sort of this research is so that we can benefit practitioners who are designing and developing these innovations. It is our belief that our insights can help them develop better products and services and also reduce their cost in doing that. And on the researcher side, if we don't help bridge this gap, it also reduces the impact of our work. And it's a missed opportunity for us to validate our findings, and also a missed opportunity for us to foster public support and interest in science. And so my Fulbright proposal is two parts, both teaching and research. And the focus is on helping bridging this research and practice divide. And I think this is especially valuable for Taiwan as it tries to move into social innovation. Right? So by allowing these designer practitioners better tools, processes through teaching, then they can potentially generate better products and services. At the same time, if we can help researchers in these communities to help translate their research into more accessible knowledge, then that can further help practitioners with social innovations. So what I propose and what I did over the past year is on teaching a theory-driven design sprint that we've been developing. The sprint basically is a short exercise. It's sort of a 3-hour-long exercise that allows designers to go through the process of brainstorming, exploring problem space, and also developing prototypes. It's a very useful and sort of oftenly used process in industries to generate prototypes and ideas. What we've done is take this process and infuse with theory in it. So throughout various points in this process, we encourage designers to apply theory into these processes so that they can leverage insights from academia, from research communities. And so last semester, I taught a course at National Tsing Hua University. And this semester, I've held 2 additional workshops with practitioners to help them understand this process that they may utilize in their work. On the research side, what I've been focusing on is thinking about how we can help translate these valuable insights from research into design, like you would in sort of a dictionary. So instead of thinking about using our papers sort of as a way to communicate our findings to practitioners, what other formats can we design to allow practitioners better understanding of the insights in our papers? And so we've kind of converged on the use of design cards. Now, these design cards basically take insights from academic papers and put them into these digestible information chunks. And so it presents designers with various strategies that they can utilize in design. Talk about the do's and don'ts of when they may apply this. And then we even give examples of how it's been utilized so that they may take these examples into when they're doing prototypes. And we also explain the underlying theory of why these strategies may work. And finally, we sort of challenge them and get them to think about ethical issues with utilizing these approaches in this work. And our hope is that these artifacts may be more useful to design practitioners and more accessible to them than the papers that we publish. And so what I've done over the past year in Taiwan, working with my collaborators at National Tsing Hua University, is on digitizing these cards, thinking about how we can build sort of more interactive versions, mobile versions of these cards so that the design practitioners could utilize them in their design practices. And the problem is more than just showing them this content. It's also about how do we help them access these knowledge. Right. And so, as you can imagine, if the designers want to gain some insights about how to design for behavior change, if they want to explore related theories, right now they have to use sites like Google Scholar. But this really isn't something that they're used to or they find enjoyable. And so what we wanted to do is create a better experience for this process. And so part of our application is also thinking about how we can redesign this experience so that the practitioners can access this knowledge, these insights in a way that's more that they're more familiar with and they find more enjoyable. So we've been creating these interfaces. And our hope is to launch this site later this year to allow practitioners to use. Now, before I end here, I want to sort of give a recap of what I've accomplished over the past year. As I mentioned, my Fulbright proposal is on research and teaching. And so teaching-wise, taught a course, held 3 workshops, and I participated on 4 master's committees. Research-wise, been developing this app. I've been working on actually multiple projects with other collaborators, and have been co-mentoring 6 students. And we're also planning a conference that's going to be held in Taiwan in 2022. A lot of my time here is also spent on outreach, right? So I recall when I was writing my application, I was told that Fulbright really is not just about me coming here doing my work, but it's also being sort of building bridges, right? Sort of allowing sort of the bidirectional interaction between US scholars and the scholars here. And so I've been doing that type of outreach, connecting scholars with faculty, University of Washington, as to also talking about my and our research. So I've given multiple talks, visited multiple universities, and also visited multiple companies. And last but not least, I've also leveraged this time to really to immerse myself in culture. I haven't lived in Taiwan for more than 20 years, so it's been a great experience back in Taiwan, revisiting and visiting some of the areas that I've never been, even when I was a kid here. And to show my kids around and show them some of the culture, help allow them to learn the language and the culture here, and also consume a lot of bubble teas. Now, thank you all for listening, and really want to thank Fulbright for this opportunity, and hope to see you all soon in the near future. Thank you.